Tonight, if your trip on OC Transpo takes extra long, as in more than 90 minutes.
I have a lot of friends who live in Orleans, so when they come from Orleans to maybe Barhaven, it takes a very long time to take multiple buses.
You won't get a discount. Instead, you'll be charged twice.
Until at minimum the construction for Stage 2 LRT is completed, it needs to be extended by, I would say, 15-20 minutes.
The OC Transpo rule commuters want changed. Taking shots via chicken wings. How the Buffalo Sabres have people in Ottawa talking hockey on one of the hottest days of the year. And 35 years for Ottawa's Lebanese Festival. The food, the music, it all gets underway tonight in a reworked space designed to hold even more festival goers. Our Jackie Perez will be live among them. Good evening. We begin tonight with frustration for some transit riders who are being charged not once but twice for a single long trip. Construction delays and the new bus network are making some people's commutes to and from the suburbs extremely long. So long, in fact, that they exceed OC Transpo's transfer window, and one councillor is calling for changes. CTV's Austin Lee joins us now with the details on this one, Austin.
Patricia, Barhaven West Councillor David Hill says OC Transpo's current 90-minute transfer window simply isn't long enough for some of those long trips.
Sometimes the bus will say it's 0 minutes away, and 30 minutes later it shows up.
For many transit riders in Ottawa, patience is a virtue, especially if you live in Barhaven and have to commute to the city's core or Gatineau.
It take multiple buses, and I think the 90 minutes is definitely not enough.
In some cases, the commute is so long it exceeds the 90-minute transfer window, forcing some passengers to pay twice for a single trip.
There have definitely been times where I've had to pay twice because the bus rides are either delayed or, like I said, they don't show up at all.
Take, for example, the route of someone looking to return home to Barhaven after working a shift in downtown Hull. One of the quicker options includes 3 different buses and the O train. In all, that's about an hour-and-a-half commute, assuming everything is on time and there are no traffic delays. But that's often not the case.
A transit rider should not have to pay twice for one trip when they're going from point A to point B.
From construction delays to bus route changes, Councillor David Hill says there are a number of issues at play.
The reliability out of Tunney's pasture in the afternoon peak to get out of there is not where it should be. So that does need to be addressed in terms of scheduling.
He's now asking city staff to review the 90-minute transfer window to see if it can be extended.
I've asked OC Transpo to take a look at it, talk to a lot of my colleagues. They're supportive of this, and yeah, we want to see this get fixed.
Anyone who is charged twice for the same trip can reach out to OC Transpo to request a refund, but many transit riders say they would prefer to have the transfer window increased.
Oh my goodness, that would be amazing. 2 hours would make a huge difference.
OC Transpo says staff are currently analyzing the potential impacts of extending that transfer window. For perspective, Gatineau's STO has a transfer window of 2 hours, so too do the public transit operators in Montreal and in Toronto. Patricia.
It is kind of insult to injury, right? Your trip took really, really long. Cha-ching. You got to pay again. CTV's Austin Lee live on this one for us tonight. Thank you very much. And you can download the CTV News app right now. Just scan the QR code on your screen using your smartphone. We have more details on those calls to extend OC Transpo's 90-minute transfer window. Well, a popular beach in Gatineau is closed for swimming for a second straight day in the middle of this heat wave after a spill in the water. And tonight we're learning a little bit more about what happened and the reason for the closure. The beach is located in Leamy Lake Park. It's about a 10-minute drive north of downtown Ottawa. CTV's Kimberly Fowler joins us now with the latest on this. Kimberly.
Well, Patricia, the NCC says the beach is closed because of what it calls a hydrocarbon spill in the lake yesterday. Conservation officers are now investigating. A hydrocarbon spill typically refers to oil or petroleum products such as gasoline or diesel fuel spilling into the water. The NCC says mitigation measures are in place to help limit the extent of the spill, including a barrier to absorb what's been spilled. We spoke with some beachgoers in Gatineau today. Here's some of what they had to say about the closure.
I'm not really concerned, honestly. I think there's worse things. It's really annoying. I'm hot. I kind of want to die right now.
but I can't swim.
I guess it makes you wonder if there's any way to improve our infrastructure and kind of prevent these unfortunate situations. Yeah.
The NCC says swimming is prohibited during the closure, and other water activities like kayaking and paddleboarding are not recommended. So far, the cause of the spill hasn't been released. Now, while the beach is closed until further notice, nearby pathways, the playground, and picnic areas remain open. The NCC says the beach will reopen as soon as water conditions allow. Patricia.
I have paddleboarded from there a couple of times. Always a busy place, so hopefully they get that rectified soon. Thanks for this, Kimberly. CTV's Kimberly Fowler live for us tonight. Well, a bold move from one NHL team today, designed to stir up a bit of a hockey fight between cities. The Buffalo Sabres marked NHL schedule release day by assigning each of their opposing teams a specific sauce flavor for the chicken wings for which Buffalo is famous. But for the Senators, no sauce at all, just a plain old wing. A pretty good jab at Ottawa, but it is not flying with residents here. Hungry for what people think. CTV's Tyler Fleming cooked up some off-season sizzle in this one, Tyler.
It's a saucy jab, Patricia.
Yes.
But, you know, folks I spoke with today obviously disagree, saying it's nothing more than sour grapes. Most will call the past season of the Ottawa Senators hot, hot, hot.
Big Karen, it's Verhaeghe!
But the Buffalo Sabres serving up their thoughts on NHL teams as chicken wing sauces.
That one tastes like rat. Damn fine rat.
Montreal, steamy in a hot dog bun. Toronto, choking hazard. And coming up with this half-baked remark for the Sens, plain.
Barbecue?
Plain. No sauce.
No sauce?
So what am I supposed to say to that?
Not sure, but Ottawans feel it's a bit of a double burn.
Ottawa's got a little bit of a reputation for being a little bland, a little plain, maybe sometimes untrue.
There's nothing plain about Ottawa. I'm tired of that saying.
And the Sens, well, they're nacho average team.
There you go.
At Lieutenant's Pump on Half-Price Wing Day, Sens fans Alan and Chantel cooked up more appropriate flavors.
We'd have to call it, this is our year.
We're eating lemon pepper. There's zingers.
Like the Sens and its fans who kept in Brady Tkachuk notes.
They know how important they are. They know how much juice they give us.
Juice for sizzling those wins.
I feel sorry for Buffalo.
But soy sauce doesn't cut it. How about these saucy sleighs for the Sabres? Cupless heat, all burn, no reward, or regret ranch pairs well with missed playoff chances. And how about mild success? It's just there. Spartacat had some heat-packed ideas on it, too. Whatever the flavor,
barbecue would be the sauce.
There's nothing plain about the Sens.
Because this is the flavor we want, and we're going to win next year.
Now, the Sabres served up plenty of plates on their rivals for the upcoming season. Check out our website for all of them, ctvottawa.ca. And the Sens, as for the Sens, rather, their first game is October 9th against Tampa Bay. They play Buffalo October 15th, and let's hope they douse them in barbecue sauce.
It's going to go from turkey, the home opener is on Thanksgiving Day against Nashville, to
gravy,
more chicken wing talk. Oh, look, we just happen to have some chicken wings.
Amazing.
I would say that this is incredibly bold of the Buffalo Sabres. As you outlined, they have not made the playoffs for a bunch of years. To do that, they will need a wing and a prayer. We're happy to provide both. Let's try plain wings.
No,
that's not what you've
habanero
got.
heat.
Oh, you're going for the heat.
I'm living on the edge.
I'm trying plain.
Yeah.
I don't mind that designation at all. Little mild sauce on the side. Mm-hmm. Good job, Buffalo. It's going to be fun this year.
Still ahead, kale at 3 a.m. The Byward Market is getting a 24-hour health food convenience store. Kale Mart does offer a few things besides kale. We'll give you a preview coming up.
And let me just chew up that little bit of chicken there. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. It's a good night to be out on patio eating wings or anything else. 33 degrees out there right now. I think Jackie was observing at 5 o'clock that if you're going to be at the Lebanese Festival on a night like this, you want to stand away from the grill. Is that your best advice, Jackie?
I mean, there's a little bit of cloud cover right now, Patricia, so sure, I'll stand by the grill as long as I can get more sandwiches as well as platters, because I did get a chance to taste a little bit ahead of tonight's festivities. So the opening ceremony is taking off officially at 7 o'clock tonight. And if you're coming down, this is what you need to know about the weather. The heat warning still in effect right now, and it is expected to last well into Thursday. Humidex levels still between 35 and 40. The air quality statement has lifted here in Ottawa and Eastern Ontario, but it is still in Southern Ontario, stretching all the way to Belleville. Right now, temperatures across the region feeling closer to 40. And yes, it is hot. We are trying to stay as hydrated as possible. But this evening, when the sun sets, it's going to be mainly cloudy conditions. Overnight lows at 21 degrees. Before tomorrow, we're in for a little bit cooler conditions, 29 degrees. But keep in mind, by the afternoon, there is a risk of some thunderstorms. So if you are heading out to Blues Fest, we're going to keep a close eye on this for you. We'll have more details on your long-term forecast, as well as more from here at the Ottawa Lebanese Festival, celebrating 35 years in just a bit. Patricia.
Thank you, Jackie. Ottawa police are asking for the public's help identifying a man accused of sexually assaulting a woman on an OC Transpo bus last month. Police say the incident happened on a Route 15 bus going to Blair Station around 4:30 in the afternoon on June 9th. The suspect is described as a man between 40 and 50 years old with a salt and pepper beard. He was wearing a New York Yankees ball cap, headphones, and a Pittsburgh Steelers jacket. A 46-year-old driver is dead after a head-on crash in North Stormont yesterday. A tractor-trailer and pickup truck collided on County Road 43 between McMillan Road and St. Luke's Road around 4:20 in the afternoon. Police say despite life-saving efforts from bystanders and paramedics, the driver of the pickup truck died at the scene. A 60-year-old man is facing charges after police seized $4.4 million worth of contraband tobacco from the inside of a transport truck. Officers were called about a truck speeding in the eastbound lanes of Highway 401 near Shannonville Road yesterday morning. When officers pulled the vehicle over, they inspected the truck and found more than 17,000 kilos of contraband tobacco. Well, e-scooters and e-bikes are a popular mode of transportation in the summer months, but many people are raising safety concerns, saying scooters are whizzing by them on the city's multi-use pathways, going way too fast. And while the rules are a little easier to enforce for the e-scooter rentals, some are calling for more clear rules and regulations for the private ones. Here's CTV's Dave Charbonneau.
Joan Grant is a former public health nurse and an avid cyclist. She says what's happening on multi-use pathways is putting people at risk.
It's an accident waiting to happen.
Grant says electric scooters and e-bikes are just too fast for certain pathways.
People that are using this now as a racetrack, we need to rethink how we're doing our paths and who's on it, and make sure that people know the rules of the road, and they don't.
A new report by CAA and the Traffic Injury Research Foundation finds the rules around e-bikes and e-scooters are not consistent across the country.
What that means is that there's different rules and bylaws and regulations, and people really need to be familiar with them. That means, where can you drive them? What sort of traffic rules should you be following? Do you need a helmet? That sort of thing.
In Ottawa, you can't ride e-scooters on the sidewalk or NCC pathways, and the speed limit is capped at 20 kilometers an hour. But officials say the regulations are easier to enforce for rental scooters than privately owned devices.
It's really challenging for the private owners of scooters. We see them all the time racing up and down, going well above what we govern ours at 20 kilometers an hour. And certainly I think the province should look into this. I know that they're looking into it after speaking to the Minister of Transportation, and I feel this is something that will become more of a issue.
Ottawa Councillor Tim Tierney says he's hearing from residents who want stricter province-wide regulations for all e-scooters and e-bikes, which is something those using the city's multi-use pathways support.
If they go more than 20, I wouldn't want them there. No, I definitely don't think anything should be over 20 on this.
When it comes to e-scooter whizzing past you or one of those unicycle things, they don't need to be on the pathway. I think it's just too much.
Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
We have extended coverage of the calls for more regulations for e-scooters and e-bikes. There are more stories online at ctvnewsottawa.ca. Well, the Prime Minister is delivering a message on behalf of Canada's steel industry, and it's one of protection. According to Mark Carney, Canada needs to be its own best customer if we want to protect the sector in the face of U.S. tariffs. CTV's Stephen Keys joins us now with more on this, Steph.
Patricia, the trade war rages on where every industry seems to have its own battle, and right now, Canada is arming itself with protectionism. The Prime Minister was in Hamilton this morning to make the announcement, and he is introducing new measures to support the steel sector and avoid so-called steel dumping. That's a term to reference how foreign companies undercut the domestic price by dumping their products into our country. Here's some of what Carney had to say.
Over time, we become too dependent on the United States as our biggest customer, with more than 90% of our steel exports going south of the border. So moving forward, we must diversify our trade relationships. And above all, we must rely more on Canadian steel for Canadian projects. And those shifts start today.
So by the end of the month, the feds plan to tighten the quota for steel coming from countries without a free trade agreement like China and Turkey to half of 2024 levels. Anything beyond that will face a tariff of 50%. The government says foreign steel has flooded the Canadian market ever since the U.S. imposed its own tariffs on the global steel industry back in March. So in order to keep it out, Canada will launch tariffs of its own. Further to that, any companies competing to get a federal contract on projects that would require this strong, durable material would have to use Canadian steel to even be considered. Now, when asked about how trade negotiations are going with the U.S., the Prime Minister wasn't quite willing to answer, Patricia, implying it would be a bad move while the talks continue.
CTV's Stefan Keys reporting live for us tonight. Thank you. Stay with CTV News for continuing coverage of the ongoing trade war and the impact on Canadian industries. For updates on radio, tune into News Talk 580 CFRA and CTV News Channel at any hour.
Natural brands with no preservatives, with no additives, no chemicals in the products.
Need a protein fix at 3 a.m.? You can add it to your smoothie at a new 24-hour healthy convenience store set to open in the market. But what will the appetite be for all-night snacks that are good for you? Jackie.
Thanks so much, Patricia. We are hanging out with Gada here. Her crew is ready for the opening day of the Ottawa Lebanese Festival.
Always
What
ready.
is it about this year that you're excited about?
This year is our 35th anniversary. Can you believe that?
And who are these ladies behind you? What are they making?
All these ladies are volunteers. They make the best bread ever. The bread is very specific, very special. It takes a lot of hands to make it, and it's the best thing ever. Come and try it.
Thank you so much. All right, thank you, ladies. Let's get a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam, where it is 33 degrees, but with the humidity feeling closer to 38. It is hot out there, but make sure you are keeping warm. And maybe you can see the Ottawa River there as well. Take a little dip to cool off.
Well, dozens of people braving the heat this morning for what turned out to be hot yoga on the hill. The popular activity returned this summer for the first time in a few years. It's held every Wednesday at noon, and all ability levels are welcome to join. Well, for the first time in a few years, residents craving a late-night bite in the Byward Market will have access to a 24-hour option. A new convenience store is set to open in the area next week, but it's not your average corner store. It will offer natural, organic, and local products. CTV's Peter Sperling has the details.
Putting the finishing touches on a new business in the Byward Market.
That's amazing.
Jaden Patey lives nearby and will soon have access to a 24-hour convenience store with a twist.
It's nice to have healthy options in the market, especially I'm actually in the food industry, so it can get a little tiring coming home from a long shift. You want to grab something easy, so to grab something easy that's healthy is really awesome.
Montreal-based Kale Mart 24 offers all natural and local products.
We offer all the classic categories of the convenience store, so going from alcohol, chips, chocolate, gums, all that, but it's natural brands with no preservatives, with no additives, no chemicals in the products.
Social media for existing Quebec locations shows a variety of options: bowls, salads, smoothies, wraps, and sandwiches.
We don't deal with Pepsi, Coke, or Nestle. We deal with really local suppliers that are making great products, 100% natural with no additives.
Residents, visitors are curious and excited.
That's so good, actually, because when you're working in the mall and you're working late and you're coming home
and you need something to drink, all your options are pop. So I'm actually excited about that. Maybe some kale chips, I don't know, a kale smoothie, perhaps.
Well, it's about time to get something like that in, really.
That's great, great.
The Byward Market area has been without a 24-hour establishment since the closure of the Rideau Street McDonald's.
I think it shows that businesses are opening in the Byward Market. I think what it shows is it speaks to perhaps a changing demographic in the city. It speaks to life in a dense downtown.
Kale Mart 24 set to open on William Street next Wednesday, with a location in Gatineau also set to open next week.
Is it somewhere you'd go?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Peter Sperling, CTV News.
Ottawa residents sweltering through one of the hottest days of this heat wave today. Temperatures reaching 34 degrees this afternoon, with the humidity felt more like 41. The heat warning is expected to continue for one more day before things start cooling down on Friday. Looks beautiful out there. As we get a full check on the forecast and we head to the Lebanese Festival, just open today, 35 years, Jackie, and a hot night for their opener.
It was a hot night for the opener, but I will take it, Patricia, because I think last year we were in the middle of a crazy downpour. So I'll take the dry conditions and the heat. Just look for some shade and get a cooling, refreshing drink as well. Taking a look at tonight's conditions, if you are just heading out for the festival or even for a beautiful night as well, today is expected to be the hottest day of the week. And I mean, you said it yourself, Patricia, feeling more like 41, and it's sunny and hazy right now. The humidity is sticking around for at least one more day. So tomorrow, the daytime high, yes, 29 degrees, but it will feel closer to 38. And then after the heavy rainfall moves in through the region, Friday, we are going to get cooler temperatures, 24 degrees, feeling closer to 25, 27, so more comfortable. And even Saturday, a mix of sun and cloud, and we are experiencing temperatures that will feel closer to 26 and 29. Meantime, though, tonight's lows across the region, most of the area sticking just above the 20-degree mark for our overnight lows, so still not cooling down until tomorrow night. Tomorrow's daytime highs still going to feel a bit muggy out, 38 the daytime high, or 29 the daytime high, but with the humidity, 38 is what it's going to feel like, and very similar across the region, feeling closer to the mid-30s. So we mentioned the system that is moving through the Great Lakes. The heaviest part of it is going to come in the afternoon. So first hitting the valleys around 1, 2 o'clock, and then early evening it will hit around Ottawa. So we're keeping a close eye on this, especially for people who are heading out to Blues Fest tomorrow night, because it could be a wet one. It is going to clear by the time Sean Paul comes out for the late evening 9:30 concert. And then Friday, we are in for some clear conditions. Now, across the country, who else is experiencing this heat wave? Well, Atlantic Canada, temperatures sitting in the high 20s. You can see that warm air really pushing through from the States. So Toronto also sitting at 31, Windsor sitting at 25 degrees. But you can see that out west, much of the prairies is sitting with cooler conditions. Temperatures are sitting around 19 degrees. So we will be getting temperatures closer to our seasonal in the next couple of days, so it'll be a good weekend coming up as well. Now, today's weather brought to you by Davidson Hearing Aid Centers, celebrating over 80 years in a family business. And when I mentioned that cool air coming in, take a look at the overnight lows from Thursday into Friday, 12 degrees, and then we're daytime high about mid-20s. And then as we get into Saturday and Sunday, we are expecting some pretty fair conditions with a mix of sun and cloud. But we are trending towards seasonal temperatures where it will be more about 25, 26 degrees. So maybe it's too hot to come out to the Ottawa Lebanese Festival tonight, but you still have the next 5 days to check it out. It's going to be free if you come before 5 p.m. and then afterwards it's about $3. And again, I always like to say, if you are coming out tonight, stay cool and stay hydrated. Maybe a little bit of lemonade as well. We'll take it back to you. We are going to hear from the organizers here from the Ottawa Lebanese Festival. And of course, they are celebrating 35 years in this wonderful, wonderful community.
Very nice. A little lemonade to wash down the hummus and all the good stuff that's there. Jackie, thank you. We'll talk in a bit. And coming up on this show, we'll share how many people are snitching on their neighbors in Gatineau for having out-of-province license plates.
Tonight, the urgent recordings from air traffic controllers in BC.
We do have an aircraft that has been hijacked, is in the vicinity of the airport.
Why the suspect stole a plane and why U.S. fighter jets scrambled to Vancouver. Later on CTV National News.
Get the latest live local breaking news.
Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, CTV Morning Live, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
First Nations are fine-tuning their expectations ahead of a key meeting with the Prime Minister. The summit was called in a bid to ease concerns about a contentious major projects law that Indigenous stakeholders say fast-tracks development without their consent. CTV's Rachel Aiello reports.
First Nations leaders set expectations today for tomorrow's big gathering in Gatineau.
This is not consultation. This is a first meeting of many. This discussion will be led by us.
The Prime Minister organized the meeting to discuss the implementation of Bill C-5 after Indigenous stakeholders felt their rights were not respected in the rush to pass it through Parliament. They now want Carney to listen.
We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he produces tomorrow.
I'm a bit more cynical. I do agree. I mean, just look at the process.
9 Ontario First Nations, though, aren't waiting, launching a legal challenge to the federal law and a similar provincial plan to try and prevent both governments from using their new powers to sidestep existing protections.
These bills from Ontario and Canada show that the Crown has no interest in reconciliation.
Today, Carney was asked,
have your belated consultations jeopardized the goal of getting new projects built?
Well, first, no.
He went on to say tomorrow's talks are about engaging on how to work together in the future.
What are the priorities? That's before any consultation on any specific project.
The Ontario government is also consulting First Nations this summer, with Premier Doug Ford's office promising to build consensus around projects that support prosperity. And Carney has additional plans to have conversations with Inuit and Métis leaders in the coming weeks. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Gatineau.
And tonight's big picture, an unlikely surfer was spotted catching some waves in New Zealand.
Yeah, boy. Only one out.
The seal making the most of a swell near a beach. The man who shot the video says he thought this was a person at first, bobbing in and out of the waves towards the shoreline. Then he realized it was indeed a seal living its best life. Well, now some other stories you need to know right now. It appears people in Gatineau are snitching on their neighbors who have out-of-province license plates. CTV's Stephen Keys joins us now with the details on this and other stories. Steph?
Patricia, earlier this year, Gatineau police launched an operation targeting Quebec drivers who hadn't switched their license plates. And tonight, we're learning just how many people were caught. Since February, the city has received more than 1,800 tips from the public about drivers living in the province for more than 3 months with a non-Quebec plate. Those tips resulted in police issuing 30 tickets. Another 50 cases are under investigation still. The fine for having an out-of-province plate is $200. The trend of Canadians avoiding travel to the U.S. appears to be continuing into the summer months. New data shows there were 147,000 trips into the United States at Eastern Ontario border crossings in June. That's down from 173,000 in the same month last year. The second half of Blues Fest kicks off tonight at LeBreton Flats after a 2-day break. Def Leppard will be the headliner on the main stage. Cardinal Official and Sean Paul will be performing tomorrow night, and Green Day headlines on Friday. Blues Fest continues until Sunday night.
The Ottawa Senators will play 41 home games this season, with their home opener kicking things off on October 13th against the Nashville Predators.
The Ottawa Senators have released their full schedule for the upcoming regular season. They put this video out on social media saying it's a dive into Sparty's algorithm to find the schedule. The team will open its season on October 9th at Tampa Bay with the home opener, as you heard there, on October 13th against Nashville.
Go, Sens, go!
Well, speaking of Sparty, he and members of the Ottawa Senators Foundation were among those at the Tanger Outlets Tim Hortons location for Tim Hortons Camp Day. Sparty and Sens alumnus Chris Neal were there serving up drinks and treats for the customers. 100% of proceeds from hot and iced coffee as well as bracelet sales today go to Tim Hortons Foundation camps. And on a steamy day like today, one would think many iced beverages were sold, Patricia. I'm dreaming of a Tim Hortons frozen lemonade myself.
Yeah, it's so good, isn't
it's
it?
It's so delicious.
All the sugar you need.
That's right.
I still stick with the steep tea today and make sure that donation,
I'm keeping it cold and sweet.
Love that. That's what Jackie's trying to do out at the Leamy's Festival. She had the lemonade going there. You got to find your way to absolutely enjoy it because it is always a blast every year. I think we were there together on opening evening last night, Jackie, and we had so much fun.
We did. You were there. Stefan was there. It was a great night. And the difference between last year and this year is that there was a downpour. So I'm going to take this humidity. I'm going to take the sunshine as long as there's no rain in sight. I want to bring in the Lebanese Festival chair, George Hanna. You're busy?
I'm busy looking at this amazing chicken tawut platter with the tabbouleh and hummus and the chicken and rice. I don't know.
I'm just proud that you haven't eaten it while we were waiting to go live with the viewers.
I close it and I open it, I close it and I open it. The thing just looks so delicious.
That's why you all need to come down here.
Yeah,
5 days of the festival. How are you feeling about the 35th anniversary?
Feeling great. I mean, this year is bigger and better than all the years. All the volunteers again have come together. We managed to pull this off in 2 days. Like, we put this together in 2 days, and I couldn't be more proud and more happier than over 400 volunteers that actually help me do this every year.
This is a 5-day event starting off tonight. What should people know when they are coming down here? How much do you have to pay? Where should I park? How should I get down here?
So the entrance is $3 a day, every day from Wednesday to Sunday. Parking is available all around Ridgewood. So we've got parking at Canada Post and Brookfields that is free, and you can just take the shuttle to visit us here at the festival. And there's also paid parking. We've got some paid parking on Riverside. We've got some paid parking in front here on the festival grounds. But the best thing is take public transit. You get on the O train or get on OC Transpo. O train, you get dropped off at Mooney's Bay. Get on the festival shuttle and then come onto the grounds.
All right, my final question to you is just lots of musical acts really celebrating Middle Eastern tradition and culture. What does that mean to you to bring it in every year and showcase the best of Lebanese culture?
Again, it makes me very proud. I love it. It's great. We've got some excellent entertainers coming in from Lebanon this year, so it's going to be a great time at the Ottawa Lebanese Festival.
George, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're going to share this with us,
No, I'm not actually. No, I'm not.
All right, George, I'm going to send you off. We're going to try to get our own food for today. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Patricia, Stefan, we're going to send it back to you.
Thanks, Jackie. Good luck getting that food.
It's actually a very natural process of fermentation, basically.
Well, coming up, it's watermelon season, but a warning about this popular summer fruit. They can explode. Those details after the break. Watermelon is a popular summer fruit, particularly during a heat wave, but you do have to be careful during the hot summer months. Watermelons can actually explode. CTV's Matt Gilmore explains.
It popped like a balloon. Water went everywhere.
You may have seen videos like this circulating online.
Can anybody out there tell us what the hell is going on with our watermelon?
Of watermelons oozing foam, the insides turned to mush. One CTV viewer who wished to remain anonymous because of his work sent us these pictures of a watermelon he bought earlier this month that exploded on his kitchen counter hours after he brought it home from the store.
It's actually a very natural process of fermentation, basically.
Food industry expert Sylvain Charlebois says it's actually not uncommon for watermelons to explode during extreme heat.
Sugar gets converted into gas inside the watermelon when it gets really, really hot, especially in the summer.
And because the peel is thick and airtight, pressure can quickly build.
You can easily make a natural bomb out of it because it's so tight and the gas will stay inside.
Charlebois says it's a good idea to check watermelons for bumps or dents before buying them. Signs the watermelon has already started to ferment, usually because of a mistake during transportation.
Sometimes there's a breach in the cold chain, which could actually trigger the process of fermentation prematurely. So by the time the product gets to the store, it's already too late.
It's most likely the reason this watermelon exploded shortly after it was brought home. Charlebois says you should never eat a watermelon that started to ferment and recommends taking it back to the store for a refund. Matt Gilmore, CTV News.
Well, returning now to one of our top stories, Canada plans to help prop up the steel industry by restricting tariff-free imports. BNN Bloomberg's Andrew Bell has the details.
Hello there. Canada intends to cut the amount of foreign steel that importers can bring in tariff-free. It's part of an attempt to support the domestic steel industry, which has been hit by levies imposed by US President Donald Trump. The Prime Minister, Mr. Carney, said Ottawa will tighten the zero tariff quota for steel products from countries without a free trade deal to 50% of last year's volumes. Above that, a 50% levy will apply. Meanwhile, as trade talks with Washington continue, Bank of Nova Scotia economist Derek Holt said Ottawa should consider excluding U.S. companies from major infrastructure and defense projects as part of its response to Trump's trade war. On the markets, the Canadian dollar changed hands at 73.07 U.S. cents, up around 1/5 cent. West Texas Intermediate crude was at $65.19, down 18 cents. Our fix on Western Canadian Select has it at $54.14, down 88 cents. And the TSX Composite ended at 27,152.97, up just under 99 points. That's the latest in business. I'm Andrew Bell of BNN Bloomberg.
Like I was looked at and said, oh, there's nothing wrong with you.
Well, coming up, raising awareness about a disease which impacts hundreds of thousands of Canadians but is often misdiagnosed.
You're watching CTV News with Patricia Boll.
Well, Sjogren's disease affects hundreds of thousands of Canadians. The majority are women, but as CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan tells us, a lack of awareness could mean there are many more who are undiagnosed.
A decade ago, Leanne Elnicki had a really slow recovery after a challenging bike race.
Unfortunately, I was kind of gaslit, like I was looked at and said, oh, there's nothing wrong with you.
It's not until she had dental problems years later that she was diagnosed with Sjogren's disease. About 1% of the population has Sjogren's disease, so in Canada, that's about 400,000 people.
It is an autoimmune disease, but we don't know what triggers it.
And it has a multitude of possible symptoms.
It starts off with the 4 hallmark symptoms of dry eyes, dry mouth, joint pain, and excessive fatigue.
But Dr. Leslie Lang says patients, who are mainly postmenopausal women, are often dismissed, leading to years of suffering before they are correctly diagnosed. Elnicki says dry mouth sounds minor to some people.
When you're not producing the same amount of saliva, your teeth aren't as protected against bacteria. So unfortunately, I'm 52 years old and I'm looking at getting dentures now because I've lost all of my molars. And it's embarrassing. It's really, it makes you self-conscious, as well as there are just foods that you can't enjoy anymore. A lot of times when you're missing teeth, the assumptions that people jump to are incredible. Like I've outright been accused of being a drug user.
And there's no treatment, just management of symptoms.
There are medications that people can take to help with joint and body pain. There are medications that people can take to help with dry eyes, dry mouth, etc. So In some cases, it means going to multiple specialists.
And there are serious long-term implications.
It affects the lungs, it affects the heart, their cardiac issues, obviously with dry mouth, it's trouble with swallowing food, so the gastrointestinal features, liver features, and there's a greater chance of getting lymphoma and cancers.
Elnicki says people experiencing symptoms need to push for a proper diagnosis because awareness of Sjogren's disease is low, even in the medical community. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Well, coming up, beating the heat in Arnprior. Firefighters lending a hand to help keep kids cool during the heat wave. Jackie.
Thanks so much, Patricia. The way we're keeping cool is by going on the Midway. Yes, there's a Midway at the Ottawa Lebanese Festival. I've got a group of friends here. What have you seen so far?
We've seen the Ferris wheel. My favorite one was the swings because they were like really hot, and we also went down the scissor one.
All right, and you guys first time at the festival?
This one, I think I've been coming here for a couple of years so far, but this is my first time, yeah.
All right, well, you guys have a great time, and hey, check out that swings that Angelina was talking about as well. For now, here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam, showcasing Kaweki Point, the sun shining nice and bright. Current temperature, we are sitting at 33 degrees.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Tanea Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barrhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, PSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barrhaven Ford, the #1 Ford EV dealer in Ontario.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Here's what's on CTV tonight. E-Talk, The Big Bang Theory, Master Chef, Gordon Ramsay's Secret Service, and Battle of the Generations. Here's a recap of the top stories we are following right now.
A transit rider should not have to pay twice for one trip when they're going from point A to point B.
An Ottawa councillor is calling on OC Transpo to extend the 90-minute transfer window, saying his constituents are being forced to pay the fare twice because trips are taking too long.
There's different rules and bylaws and regulations, and people really need to be familiar with them.
A push to strengthen rules and regulations for e-scooters and e-bikes across the province to prevent speeding and dangerous operation.
We can't call it plain. We'd have to call it, this is our year.
Sure it is. Forget plain. Ottawa Senators fans coming to this city's defense after the Buffalo Sabres assigned the capital a less than exciting chicken wing flavor in a pretty good publicity ploy as they're releasing their NHL schedule. We want to take a final look at the weather forecast. Certainly not plain in Ottawa. It is hot, it is spicy, and Jackie is out at the Ottawa Lebanese Festival for us tonight. Jackie.
I am Patricia. We're going to cap things off by hanging out at the Midway, of course, before the festivities really get underway at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow's temperature is going to be very similar to today's. A little bit of cloudiness, though, but still dry. 24 to start the day. It's going to feel like 33, so the humidity sticking around well into the evening. But tomorrow, we are expecting a risk of some thunderstorms in the afternoon. We're keeping a very close eye on this, so we will be updating as frequently as we can. Daytime high 21 degrees. And then things are really going to cool off. The heat warning is going to finally be lifted. We're going to get some reprieve as we go Friday into Saturday and into Sunday with temperatures averaging the mid-20s. Now that's it from us here from the Ottawa Lebanese Festival. This is day one, and we've had some food, we've had some drinks, and now, of course, we need to take a ride and a spin on the Ferris wheel. Tony, hit it. Stefan, Patricia, or Kimberly and Patricia, apologies. I'm going to take it back to you guys in studio as we enjoy day one of the Ottawa Lebanese Festival. Goodbye!
Yesterday on the water in a boat, today in the sky. Yeah. Looks like a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think I could do that ride.
Yeah, that one seems tame.
Yeah, it doesn't go upside down. Kimberly Fowler is here filling in for Stefan Keys tonight. And what is our team working on?
Well, it is going to be another hot night in the city, and it's also going to be hot where Blues Fest, the second half of the music festival. Back on that LeBreton Flats, Def Leppard is the headliner on the main stage. Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine and Audio Slave is their opening act. Again, that's on the main stage. Another big crowd is expected over at LeBreton Flats tonight. And you can get the news anytime, anywhere at ctvnewsottawa.ca. Join me tonight for CTV News at 11:30.
All right, good stuff. Thank you. And finally for us tonight, firefighters in Arn Prior, love this, getting creative to help kids beat the heat. So crews are setting up their fire truck this morning outside A.J. Charbonneau Elementary School, helping this group of kiddos right here cool off under the water from the ladder hose. What a fantastic way to have fun.
Where are all the moms?
Stay cool. Yeah, well, they're somewhere, tell me. Taking in the view, no doubt. Yeah, wanting to stay cool as the heat wave continues.
Yeah.
You may see something similar, I would think, at Def Leppard tonight. That guy with the hose, the security guy who's always at the front of the crowd. People are going to be clamoring for a little bit of a...
Especially during Pour Some Sugar on Me, that's for sure.
Pour some sugar and a little water, please, at the same time. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you here tomorrow.